Tonight on News 5 Live, Waterloo enters an appeal of DOE's decision regarding the Port of Belize expansion project. An agriculture development leads to water contamination in Alta Vista. And tonight on Belize on Real, celebrating a decade of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Belize. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. Smart, your full-service communication provider.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Good morning, thank you for calling me. This is a inspection first. Once the inspection passes, we do the connection for you.
Our teams at BEL continue to serve you.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, January 12th. I am Sabrina Daly. We begin tonight's newscast with an update on the Port of Belize expansion project. In December, the developers lodged an appeal against the decision made by the Chief Environmental Officer to reject its proposal. In late November 2022, the Environmental Impact Assessment for the Port of Belize cargo expansion, cruise terminal and tourism village project went before the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, NEAC, and all but one of the 16 members voted against the project, and the recommendation was made to the Department of Environment. But it wasn't the end-all for the project, and the developers are invoking Section 27 of the Environmental Protection Act, which will see a 3-member tribunal reconsider the decision. Minister Habet breaks down what this means.
We have to follow the regulations. The regulations calls for the formation of the tribunal. One person coming as a magistrate that is selected by the chief magistrate, or a justice coming from the Supreme Court. The second person being the senator responsible for business. And the third would be one person who's a professional in the environmental field, ecology, to come as a person nominated or assigned by the minister responsible for sustainable development.
So do you think the laws need to be changed though, because people are saying, well, you have a 3-member tribunal being able to overturn the decision of 16 people who are actually experts. Will this be a public hearing, public deliberation of this tribunal?
I wouldn't be able to tell if it is public because based on Section 27, if you follow through, it also tells you that the tribunal will form its own proceedings, will make will guide itself with their own principles and proceedings. So we don't know if they will say, well, it's going to be a public hearing or not, or it will be in close quarters. But certainly in regards to the legislation, and I have heard the concerns that you have 14 or 15 members of NEAC going through this assessment, coming from professionals in the field and some administrators, and then you put it to three-person tribunal. If we look at how our courts operate, we know that you go to the magistrate or to the chief justice, and if you don't get justice served in your opinion, then you could go to an appeal. And normally the appeal will be, maybe if you go as far as the CCJ, then you have a 3-person tribunal. So it goes from 1 to 3, and now we're going from 14 to 3. So looking at it from that standpoint, I believe that maybe there's something that we'll have to do in terms of amendment to the regulations. From my standpoint, I'm not a learned attorney, so I think that from where we stand, from the ministry and interpretation of the regulations, it is telling you that this appeal has already been triggered when the company has already sent that appeal to the minister. So I don't know if any changes can be made now because that is already in process. But certainly for the future is something that we have to consider.
So the decision will go to a tribunal. As we reported, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry has said that its representative on NEAC, although absent, had voted in favor of the project back in late November. The business senator will have a seat on the tribunal. A judge will also be included, and then the ministry is to appoint an environmental expert. The decision of the tribunal, whenever it convenes, is final and can, by a simple majority, overturn the decision of the Department of Environment. But is there a conflict of interest?
Environmental side, then certainly we have to get somebody who's a professional with a lot of experience. What the law doesn't say is if it has to be local or it can be somebody international. From my interpretation, it is open So we can bring somebody from Australia, from England, from the US that is a professional in the field.
That would be your person, though, but when it comes to the business person, it has to be the senator.
Yes.
And in this case, we're learning that the senator is the brother of the local consultant for water, not for Waterloo, but the entire project. So should that person be removed, or should they, excuse themselves?
I wouldn't be able to comment on whether or not they should. It would be something that the chamber, if that's their nomination, will have to make a decision on, so that then they can have that type of transparency with the public. And then also the senator, if he decides that he want to recuse himself, and then the same business community to nominate someone else. But for that, then it would have to be a senator, so then that makes it a narrow time for a replacement.
What about your person, or the person that you nominate? How far are you to selecting that person?
We have been looking at some of the professionals within Belize and trying to make certain that they have no affiliation with the company in EIA or that they are involved in some way or the other, employed or family members or otherwise. But we are also looking regionally and extra-regionally to see if we can get professionals in the field that would be able to serve the purpose for hopefully making the decisions that they should make. Of course, from the government side, it has been rejected. So you want people who are professionals, who have that type of experience, especially in the area of the marine side, to be able to come up with a decision and help to guide or at least contribute positively to the deliberations that the tribunal will have.
Minister Habet says that within a month or so, they are expecting to select its representative on the tribunal. On the topic of environmental impact assessment, residents of Alta Vista in Stan Creek District have raised concerns about water quality because of land clearing that has been taking place by a property owner. It was brought to the attention of the Ministry of Sustainable Development by Area Representative Rodwell Ferguson. Today, Minister Orlando Habet told the media that since the issue arose a month ago, several teams have been sent out to the area to investigate. He says that a private landowner has been planting in the vicinity, and there was some level of erosion that contaminated a water source that is actually within his property. The ministry has been working with that individual to resolve the issue. Here is how he explains it.
He has been in Belize for about 16 years, that's my understanding. He has been planting teak and is getting into coconuts, and so he was clearing some land to be able to plant his coconuts. The report we got says that he has 14,000 coconuts ready to plant, already has the seedlings, and he has a large nursery with teak trees which he already wants to plant. The report says that he had hired someone with a machine to clear the land to make a road, actually to give access to some of the farmers in Alta Vista. But because of his absence, the person went beyond what he was required to do, caused some erosion. With the rains, water went into the dam where the water is collected for feeding and providing water to the residents of Alta Vista. We are also made to understand that half of the residents of Alta Vista get water from this dam. The dam is in Mr. Lacroix's, that's his name, the owner, property. So it is in his property, but it is owned and managed by the village council and the village water board. So what the Department of Environment did was that because he needed environmental clearance because of the slope, the steepness, he was given a stop order. And in the meantime, I think the water is now clearing up. But we asked him to collaborate with the community, and he has promised to purchase a large water tank to be able to fill up the water from Billy Barcadia to supply water for the community. As it is, my understanding is also from the people who manage Billy Barcadia that half of the supply of the water from Alta Vista comes from that dam, and the other half comes from Billy Barcadia. So it seems as if during the dry season that the water supply from that dam also goes to minimal levels, and it is not good water. So it might be now that this has triggered for us to look at an alternative source of permanent water source.
Earlier this week, Prime Minister John Bersenio announced a minor shuffle in cabinet where Orange Walk North Area Representative Ramon Monchi Cervantes was removed as Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration to the Ministry of Sustainable Development. Today, when we spoke with Substantive Minister Orlando Hebet, he says that Cervantes had assisted him with gathering signatures for the political recall of Elvin Penner in Cayo Northeast. Habed says that his portfolio covers a number of departments and additional hands on deck, particularly as it relates to strengthening NEMO, are welcomed.
Had a first meeting with him, of course, looking at where the minister will be established, his office, and how we can assist him to be able to assist us also. I think he brings a lot of experience from his business side of things, and so where he will be posted, assisting us in moving our policies and objectives forward for NEMO, the fire department, and also now the new department that has been put back over to environment, which is that of solid waste management. We have such a large ministry, and certainly you're aware we travel a lot because of the nature of our ministry. NEMO is very important, and many people see the importance of NEMO when we have an emergency. But it shouldn't be only that, because NEMO is not only for hurricanes. They look at other emergencies. A few days ago, we heard about the issue with the tourists that were trapped at that cave. NEMO is also active. NEMO needs to be built up a lot more. I think that initially, when we had just taken over government, one of the first interviews I can recall at the Biltmore Plaza, I was asked what was one of those things that I wanted to accomplish, and I said I wanted to see us at NEMO have our own emergency fund established. That hasn't happened per se as a specific emergency fund, but the Prime Minister made sure that early this year we had a contingency fund from which we drew monies as emergency fund for assisting the people who were devastated by the disaster with Lisa. And I'm still the substantive minister responsible for NEMO, for fire, and also for solid waste management. And we have our programs in place which we will continue to put into effect. But if we can improve those, then we improve them.
Speaking of improving NEMO's response, Minister Orlando Hebet says that an assessment indicates that there was up to $250 million in damages caused by Hurricane Lisa. Today, he gave an update about recovering from this disaster.
It's over $250 million that the initial assessment came up with. But what I can report on is that there is a new needs assessment being done with the assistance of UNDP, and so they're bringing in some professionals in the field who are still taking the same report that has been done by Dana, but they will be strengthening it by doing some more research and trying to come up with a more substantive figure that certainly encompasses not only the physical damage but social and other effects.
Coming up, police investigates alleged home invasion in Belmopan. Find out the details when we come back.
Necesitas un proveedor de servicio móvil que te permita estar conectado con una cobertura LTE rápida y confiable en cualquier instante y desde cualquier lugar. ¿Quieres hablar con tu familia? ¿Compartir tus experiencias con alguien especial? ¿Administrar tu pequeña empresa? Para todo lo que necesites te mereces la mejor experiencia móvil. Ahora puedes hacer mucho más con los planes de datos postpago aumentados de Digi. Puedes disfrutar de 8 GB de datos en cualquier instante por tan solo $55 mensuales. O puedes compartir hasta 120 GB con 6 de tus amigos más cercanos. Estos son más datos LTE para que disfrutes durante el día, por las noches y los fines de semana sin restricciones. Disfruta a lo máximo con más datos para llamadas y mensajes ilimitados en todos los planes postpago de Digi. Visita la tienda Digi más cercana para inscribirte hoy. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y un comprobante de domicilio. Únete a la red de mayor velocidad y cobertura en Belize. Para más información visita nuestra página web www.livedigi.com o envíanos un mensaje a través de WhatsApp o Facebook. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a road group company.
So the doctor has given me 5 days off. How do I get paid from Social Security?
This is how Social Security works for sickness benefits. First, you must check that you qualify. You must be between the ages of 14 and 65. You must be employed when you got sick. You must be an insured contributor. Have made 50 paid contributions. Have made 5 paid contributions within 13 weeks immediately before getting sick. To ensure that your processing goes smoothly, be sure to complete and submit your claim form within 4 days of the first day of illness.
Thanks, I get it now.
Social Security, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
It's time to ring in the new year with some awesome savings from Samsung. Start the new year right when you take advantage of the lowest prices on all Samsung phones, starting as low as $339, or tablets starting at only $399. The full Galaxy lineup includes the A03, A04e, A13, A23, A33, A53, S20FE, S22, S22 Plus, S22 Ultra, and the newly released Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Z Fold 4. Shop with a peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy device is backed by a 1-year warranty only when you shop. Save and secure your device at Samsung's authorized resellers countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, and Odette's Home Center. So this year, ring in the new year with an awesome device from Samsung.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
Every year, Belize loses thousands of acres of forests to wildfires. These fires threaten human livelihoods and property, destroy forest products, and endanger wildlife. Large amounts of smoke produced by wildfires can have serious impacts on our immune system and our respiratory and heart health. However, fires that are well planned and controlled can be beneficial to ecosystems and agriculture, while protecting human health and property by reducing the buildup of high-risk fuels, such as tall, dry grass and dead trees. Ultimately, this can reduce the risk of wildfires. If you engage in the use of fire, please do so responsibly. You should always have a plan and a backup plan to avoid starting a wildfire. This includes monitoring weather patterns to avoid burning on very hot, dry, and/or windy days. Be a good neighbor by informing persons in your community that you are planning to burn. Have the right tools, enough water and manpower to control the fire. Also, never leave a fire unattended. Always ensure that you put it out properly. Fire management training in the central Belize area is available through your local NGO network. Contact the Belize Zoo at 613-4966 or education@belizezoo.org for more information. Do your part to protect life, health, and our natural resources.
On Monday night, we shared the story of a pair of elderly brothers from Belmopan who claimed that their home in the Mayamopan community was burglarized and that $250,000 was taken from their home. They also alleged that several police officers were involved in the crime. To date, no charges have been levied upon anyone for the alleged incident. On Wednesday night, the Commissioner of Police informed reporters via text that, quote, "I can confirm that an official report was filed yesterday, and police are currently investigating to verify if, in fact, the incident indeed happened. The persons named in the complaint are currently detained and are being interviewed. So far, they are denying their involvement in any such crime. Nonetheless, the investigators are conducting interviews with the neighborhood to verify certain information," end quote. We continue to follow these reports. 23-year-old Kyle Latchman remains unaccounted for in the wake of his father's murder. His family, despite searching various locations where it is believed that his remains would turn up, is no closer to determining his whereabouts. But they are perhaps a step closer to getting a sense of finality where the shooting death of Emmert Flowers is concerned. This morning, 18-year-old Adrian Hernandez, a resident of Berkeley Street, was arraigned on a single charge of murder. He is the suspected triggerman in the armed assault on the 62-year-old tour guide. The incident occurred at Flowers' residence on Racecourse Street on December 27, 2022. Hernandez appeared unrepresented before Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser, who informed him that due to the nature of the offense, bail would be denied. With that, the teenager was remanded to the Belize Central Prison until March 13, 2023. 21-year-old Malcolm Hushner will stand trial in the Supreme Court for the murder of Dorian Sack, as well as the attempted murder of a 15-year-old minor. It is alleged that on January 13, 2022, Hushner entered a home on Antelope Street Extension where Sack and the minor were inside a bedroom. He reportedly opened fire on the pair, killing the 25-year-old and severely injuring the teenager. Earlier today, Hushner also appeared before Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser. At the conclusion of a preliminary inquiry, it was decided that Hushner must stand trial for murder, notwithstanding the fact that 3 other related charges had been dropped by the prosecution. The Chief Magistrate concluded that a prima facie case has been made against Hushner, and he will be tried in the April session of the Supreme Court. On Monday, we told you about Valeriano Pup, a Bella Vista resident fighting for his life after receiving third-degree burns to 75% of his body. Pup was burning garbage outside of his home when it exploded and caused his injuries. Today, the media spoke with station supervisor of the National Fire Service, Kenneth Mortiz, who says that open fires are serious hazards.
The 19-year-old indeed was burning garbage, and this goes against all warnings that both the fire department and the Department of Environment always try to encourage the general populace when conducting something of this nature. While it might seem appropriate to dispose of your garbage via burning based on your location and the garbage collecting routine, it's not always the best move. when you burn garbage, there are tons of explosives in those garbage itself, whereby it's a disposed battery, whereby it's a compressed canister, such as a empty spray can or something of that sort. You have no idea what you're burning, and because of the lack of education behind doing these things, you don't know the danger you're exposing yourself to. Unfortunately, the young man suffered approximately 75% burns of his body, and I can only wish him a speedy recovery. However, as we've always tried to caution, be careful and be mindful how you want to experiment when burning these garbage. It might look like garbage, but there's a whole lot of chemicals in them that you might not know of. He didn't have a what-if plan in place. We know that he had a hose, but that wasn't enough. His proximity, body-wise, to the pile that was being burnt was way too close. And again, it's an unfortunate situation, but those are some of the dangers that we expose ourselves to when conducting these type of burns.
After the break, Ministry of Agriculture and BMDC met with onion producers in the north over importation concerns. We'll tell you about that. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Thank you for calling me. This is a inspection first. Once the inspection passes, we do the connection for you.
Our teams at BEL continue to serve you.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart.
It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
And today we're here shopping at B-Mart. Today we're making the green super smoothie. Let's get after it.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing.
But hope is remaining.
And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
The Ministry of Agriculture, along with the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation, BMDC, met with onion producers from Corzal and Nordwalk District on Wednesday for the second of 3 ordinary sessions. This meeting came on the heels of reports that local onions were rotting in the fields due to a saturation of imported onions on the local market. The discussion focused on production forecast, quality, and supply and demand for this year's crop season. Recent issues raised by onion producers concerning imported onions on the market were also addressed during the meeting. Today, we spoke with Minister of Agriculture, Jose Abelardo May, and asked him about the outcome of the meeting. Here is what he had to say.
The BMDC had some on the market to supply the country over the Christmas holidays. And secondly, is that rushing to the market to get the highest price, many farmers at times do not cure the onion well. So whoever buys 100 sack of uncured onion will lose that onion. The shelf life is like 3 to 4 days. And so the Belizean public then is hesitant to buy the imported onion when there's a few of the imported on the market. So it's not that there was an abundance. There was a competition. There was imported, which is properly dried because it's imported. It comes from a country where it's cooler climate, drier climate than what we have in Belize. So they prefer to buy the imported over the local. And so that was the problem. And then thirdly, there was a serious miscommunication problem between the BMDC, the Extension Office, and the farmers. Because BMDC had been to the field when the plants were smaller. They knew that the plants existed. The Extension Office knew that these plants were there, and there was no good communication to say, listen, we have 50 sacks of onion. We use 100 sacks of onion a week, 100,000 pounds, sorry. So whatever they had would not suffice to the market. But they were not in communication. So essentially, what we discussed was we need to improve the communication with the farmer, the BMDC, and the Extension Service, right? And so I left the meeting with that we're going to go out there, buy the onions that are available, because we don't have onions in the country, and if we don't have to import, we don't import, and then we distribute it to the nation.
And according to Minister May, those producers are pleased with the resolutions made in the meeting and the price they will be able to fetch for their produce during this year's crop. But there is a concern that the market will become oversaturated with local onions this year due to overproduction. Minister May told us more.
But I will tell you, Paul, that when the peak of this harvest comes in, there will be a problem because a lot of onion being harvested, right? And the market can only absorb so much. We have purchased and supplied to the producing areas cold storage facilities. It's never enough because there are a lot of onions out there, right? And that is because the bad weather in the country right now damage a lot of the onion fields. So even so, that we will have a large amount of onions coming in at a certain time in the year, and that will also lead to the problem of the price going down and farmers very uncomfortable. But that's the nature of the perishable product we deal with and the law of supply and demand.
Belize will find out from the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force in the months ahead how effective our efforts have been in countering money laundering and related activities. The CFATF is currently conducting an evaluation that will extend into 2024. But before that stage, personnel from the task force are in Belize to conduct training with the relevant parties to understand the evaluation process. Today's session included the public sector ministries, departments, and other government agencies. News 5 spoke with 2 officials from CFATF to find out more about their roles in this phase of the process.
Money laundering basically is proceeds derived from criminal conduct, which is given some level of, designed to give some level of legitimacy. Belize will be assessed in line with the FATF methodology, which is the 40 recommendations that deals with money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing. And also, the assessment team will be assessing Belize's level of compliance or effectiveness with the 11 immediate outcomes. Well, as part of this training, we'll be giving Belize guidance as to what information is needed to satisfy the technical compliance requirements within the FATF methodology, and we'll be giving Belize guidance as well as to what is required to satisfy, to demonstrate the level of effectiveness within Belize to address money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing as well. What we're also doing is to prepare Belize for the on-site visit, which is scheduled for December, so that the agencies, police, customs, immigration, etc., that deals with money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing are properly prepared, so when they speak to the assessment team, they are knowledgeable as to what is required to demonstrate effectiveness.
One part of the process is going to be focused on whether the current legislation and regulations meet the standards established by the Financial Action Task Force. We are trying to tell through this training that the methodology of the FATF to assess a AML CFT system is looking at one of these particular areas, how authorities are performing in terms of investigating, prosecuting, and imposing convictions to criminals. So there are many areas that should be kept in mind in order to achieve a good system, and it includes having good resources, good procedures, good laws, people that is properly trained, and maintain good statistics, make an assessment of risks, and also prosecute crimes based on an understanding of those risks.
CFATF is an intergovernmental organization made up of 24 member countries and is headquartered in Trinidad and Tobago. It is chaired by Samuel Bulgin, the Attorney General of Cayman Islands. The task force has a list of requirements for each of the countries that it evaluates. In Belize, the Financial Intelligence Unit is usually tasked with gathering information in circumstances where monies were questionably transacted. And the unit's deputy director, Lenny Isigeri Magan, explained how the office works, after which Andrew Dalip, a consultant supporting Belize, explained how he is assisting the country.
At the Financial Intelligence Unit, we have several functions. So one of them is that we are the recipient of information, which we call intelligence reports, suspicious transaction reports, that assist investigative authorities in terms of detecting and identifying crime when it happens. At the Financial Intelligence Unit, we also have an investigative limb, and so what would tend to happen is that we receive intelligence not only from entities who are obligated to report certain information, but also from other what we call competent authorities. So we have law enforcement, supervisory authorities. We receive information, and our role as an intelligence body is to develop that information. We look at it, we use our sources of information to try and add value and understand what's happening. And then from that, we determine if it should be forwarded to someone else, whether outside of the FIU or within the FIU, and to further investigate. Part of the evaluation is that they will not only check on what the authorities are doing, but they will also be interviewing the private sector to also ensure that what we say we're doing is actually, yes, trickling.
As Belize is preparing for this mutual evaluation, which is, as the folks from CFATF would have explained, peers coming from other jurisdictions to examine the country's position to see where we are in terms of establishing and implementing the anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, and combating the financing of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction systems. I am supporting the country in terms of its preparations for that examination. Someone trying to get money to buy components for a nuclear weapon, chemical weapon, biological weapon, it can pass through the entire global financial system. Belize is an integral part of that system. And in order to protect the entire global community, everybody has to do their part, including Belize.
But since it is widely known that the drug cartels and their hired workers are among the #1 pushers of money laundering operations, we asked Isigeri Magan about the checks and balances in-house to ensure that their staff are people of integrity.
Recruitment at the FIU does involve a vetting process. So of course we're checking criminal backgrounds. We try to find out about who your associates are, etc. In terms of vetting our officers and our staff. So we rely on not only our information but also police and other sources to do our vetting. So we do vet our staff and our persons.
Back in early December, Prime Minister John Bersenio received the presidency pro tempore of the Central American Integration System, SICA, from Dominican Republic President Luis Abinader Corona at a meeting of heads of state and government of SICA in Santiago de Caballeros, Dominican Republic. And so for 6 months, from January to June, PM Bersenio will be advancing efforts on the implementation of SICA's regional agenda. Today, a similar ceremony was held at the House of Culture in Belize City, where Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, Orlando Habet, received the pro tempore presidency of the Central American Commission on Environment and Development, CICAD. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Today, before stakeholders from the Sustainable Development Community and representatives from the Diplomatic Corps, Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, Orlando Habet, was conferred the Central American Commission on Environment and Development banner from the Dominican Republic. With that gesture, Belize assumes the pro tempore presidency of the SICA committee to push forward environmental priorities for the next 6 months.
The pro tempore presidency rotates every 6 months, which presents a challenging task to guarantee the continuity of this process. However, I can say that, and without fear of being mistaken, that this continuity has been achieved through the previous pro tempore presidency that the CCID has been increasing and strengthening basis on the commitment of each holder of the presidency. Last year, with Dominican Republic and Panama.
Last year, several initiatives and projects were approved under the leadership of the Dominican Republic, and new regional priorities were promoted, some of which now fall under Minister Habet and his team.
For us, it is significant because we have on our agenda at least 6 or 7 priority areas that we want to stress and that we want to see accomplished by the time we come out. We have projects within Central America and the Caribbean which are sponsored by some of the same partners in development. We have the UK, which is assisting us with the Biodiverse Landscape Fund, which is a regional project. We have the projects for the 5 Great Forests of Mesoamerica, which is also a landscape project that not only looks at the conservation or preservation of the forest at the landscape level, but looks specifically at communities that are affected so that you can provide those livelihoods.
Minister Habet says that Belize has its own priorities that will improve the regional work, not only for SICA, but also improving the linkage with CARICOM, for which Belize plays a critical role.
Important is that integration between CARICOM and SICA. Last year there was a CARICOM-SICA meeting, and at that meeting it was informed that we have to strengthen that partnership.
there is so much politically, but also economically that we can benefit from. And so we have to strengthen that partnership. But also because of our quest within the biodiversity and climate change arena, that we have to work together because we are small island states in the Caribbean and the small countries in Central America, which are all small developing countries. And so we have some of the same effects from climate change. We have some of the same needs, and really the people can integrate and come together with sharing of those experiences that, like I mentioned, sharing expertise. No need for us to be duplicating efforts if we already have something that has worked in one country, and we can sort of copy and do what we can in our country.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Agriculture Minister Jose Abelardo Mai has also taken over the Commission for Agriculture under SICA. When we return, 10 years of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in Belize.
Ray, what's wrong? It's him. He hit me again. Oh my gosh. This time it was worse. He slammed my face in the wall and threatened to kill me. If you or someone you know is experiencing family violence, call 0800 A Way Out. Or you can text or WhatsApp to 672-9628.
With the most comprehensive assortment of products and the many types of decorating methods available in Belize, CGI continues to be the leader in the printing, embroidery, and signage industry, catering to every person and business. Whether it's a personalized gift for that special person, promotional items for those promotions or giveaways, t-shirts for schools and businesses, advertising banners, and directional signage, we can print it all. With our manual and automatic screen printing equipment, we can deliver any size order on time. Digital printing on different outdoor media substrates at 200 square feet per hour. Let us deliver full-color banners, stickers, and vehicle wraps at the highest quality in a timely manner. Polo shirts and blouses, office uniforms for male and female, caps and other apparels are embroidered with our own embroidery equipment that delivers only the highest quality stitch by stitch. Our sewing department is fully equipped to sew jerseys, solar long sleeves, bags, gaiters, PE pants, among other apparels. So whether you need a rubber stamp, business cards, a personalized laser engraved mug, trophies and awards to recognize achievement, or useful promo items such as pens, bags, bottles, t-shirts to help in creating brand awareness, CGI is truly your best reliable choice. Managing all the printing methods in our facility allows us to have control over your order from beginning to end. Our core value is to offer the best service in the industry, delivering your order on schedule with a rapid turnaround time. CGI, providing useful products that promote. In Orange Walk, 322-2282. In Corozal, 422-0151. Online at www.cgipromos.com.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Join us for an engaging and inspiring service from Sagebrush Church that the whole family will love. Each week, you will have the opportunity to take part in amazing worship and learn how you can make your personal relationship with God a priority. Watch us on TV, stream us online, or visit us in person at one of our 8 physical locations. Go to sagebrush.church or download the Sagebrush app to find locations and times to watch.
Tonight's Belize on Real feature looks at 10 years of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in Belize and the impact of the Muslim faith on our society. Here's News 5's Isani Cayetano with that story.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Before I became a Muslim, I was basically the same as any Belizean, you know. Grew up just as a local. What I did before was I liked music, so I created music. I was even on Be the Next Superstar with my brother Brian Gab, who's still doing music and comedy. And I also did. I was a published author of We Got Something to Say, that book as well, part of Youth Voices.
Ataul Haq's spiritual journey to Islam is a story of finding one's self. Prior to his conversion, many knew him as Stephen Gab, a young Belizean poet who stood out among his peers by using rhetoric to observe social, cultural, political, and economic issues.
I refrain from making assumptions. I refrain from making assumptions. I always do my best. I always do my best.
We're going to bring creativity, personality, and strong love.
Yeah, but the truth, you know, we have the big C, creativity. You know, I've not been that physical, so if there's a physical challenge, I don't know how I do. I've been tripping out on that.
Despite his growing fan base and popularity, Gab stayed away from religion. He was someone who believed that it is impossible to know whether or not a supreme being exists.
What made me become a Muslim was the fact that I was actually going to Cayo for a performance, right? We were opening for Alkaline. At that point of time, he was very big. However, some situations occurred that we were not able to perform that night. And on that night, me and my friends were jumped. We were jumped. And as you know, all of us Belizeans, we take our pride very seriously. And so that hurt my pride, and I wanted to go and get revenge.
It just so happened that the individual who Gab turned to for help in exacting vengeance would instead introduce him to God in a most unusual manner.
Before I got to the mosque, I was thinking that, you know, it's going to be like every other person. They're going to say, faith is better, you should give your life to God or whatever. I did not expect any evidence. And so my biggest thing, I love science. And so I always said that if the word of God does not coincide with the works of God, then how can it be true?
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
When Imam Naveed Mangla arrived 9 years ago, his singular assignment was to establish an Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Belize. The task was daunting, but the devout follower of Islam held firmly to his faith.
I came here and the one advice that the missionary that was staying here before me on temporary basis gave me was that make sure you don't stay at home, right? Every day you should be out there on the streets. So I wrote to the head of the community in Canada at that time, because we were under them at that time, that I need a vehicle, right? They said that your community is too small and you can't have these kind of things. I told them I can't fit on the bus because I'm too tall, right? They said that the most we can do is get you a bike, and that's where you have to start your mission from.
That's where the campaign of religious work began.
I was just astonished that, you know, the reputation that the country has is quite opposite of personally when you meet these people. But at the same time, there was stigma against Muslims, because whenever I would wear my hat and would be crossing the streets, people would call me a Taub and a terrorist. But I would just laugh it off, because I knew that the kind of image that Islam had in the minds of Belizeans was because of the main source media.
Changing public perception of Islam proved to be equally challenging. Since then, the community has grown in numbers, and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Belize has established itself among the many faith-based organizations in the country. Aside from various outreach initiatives, ABL is its most popular program. How did you find ABL, and what has this been like for you?
Well, I feel like that me fan because they meet there now. They go like what 3.3 to help out gateway. So I say, well, you know, I go and play because then the free money to like $50 to win for just for 3.3 game. So I just got it. I was gonna play ball, me and my friends.
Everald Tablada is among a handful of young athletes engaged in the Ahmadiyya Basketball League. Rod Vernlino is the ABL commissioner. As the sports coordinator at Stella Maris School, he met brother Naveed casually. Before they knew it, they were onto something major.
Brother Naveed used to visit our school because there was a member of the church, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, who used to work with me. So he would come and he would just look around, and eventually began playing basketball with us right there at Stella Maris School. So we played basketball, and then we decided to do something for the community.
Realizing that sports is a way of capturing the attention of young people and keeping them off the streets, the Jamaat has been active in spreading the word through basketball.
Ahmadiyya, that's a nice thing for their own. You know, they show your love, respect, everything. Yes.
It has also perhaps kept you away from trouble.
Definitely. Like, keep me well tight, because I didn't go up on the street like that, even if there's no ball, and I'll come out.
La ilaha illallah.
The crowning achievement of Imam Naveed Mangla during his tenure as president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Belize was the construction of Masjid Noor. The Mosque of Light stands as a symbol of love, respect, and unity.
I am blessed that I got to see the achievement of Jamaat. As you know, as I mentioned that when I came, I was just solo on the bicycle. Used to ride around, and now we have this headquarters, and we have 2 more missions, and we have around over 200 members of our Jamaat here in Belize. I'm grateful to God Almighty, but obviously my goal was that one day I'll see this mosque to be filled.
But he may not realize that dream. Imam Naveed's mission in Belize has come to an end. Succeeding him is a younger, equally vigorous and purposeful president.
The idea is that we want to increase and continue to grow. That's there. We have the same goal and we have the same vision. The idea is that we want to serve humanity in the best possible manner.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Up next, Pastor Matthew Carricker reevaluates Christian beliefs on homosexuality and pluralism in new book.
You could still come over though. You could watch a movie or something.
Oh my God, I can't believe this happened.
Under the bed or in the closet? Which one?
I got 3 boys. I need them to be better men than me. I mean, better men than we.
Please don't go wind up.
Who has stopped me? Hello? Who has stopped me? Which one I want to?
For We Family Season 2 begins January 26 at 8 p.m. on Channel 5 and on News 5 Live's Facebook page. Brought to you by the National Commission for Families and Children in collaboration with the National Parenting Task Force and UNICEF.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Messi. Off goal, what a goal from Leo Messi. What an incredible strike from Leo Messi. Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi. Off goal, what a goal from Leo
Great
Messi.
entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Back in November of 2022, we told you that the Inter-American Development Bank's Board of Governors elected Ilan Golfan as its new president. Today, Golfan made his inaugural address from the IDB's headquarters in Washington, D.C. During the address, he shared his vision and priorities for Latin America and the Caribbean as the bank enter a new chapter. His address was streamed live on YouTube. Here is a brief excerpt from those remarks.
I pledge to lead with integrity, and here again, integrity is essential, so that together we can build trust and achieve more for Latin America and the Caribbean. Now is the time to move forward. Internally, we will foster trust and openness genuinely. We'll create an environment where, starting with me, we can listen, learn, respect different approaches. This is not a place for intolerance and polarization, where we unfortunately have seen quite a bit around the world. We will start by creating an environment where we learn from our successes, but also from the failures. This calls for more dialogue throughout the bank and with you, our partners and stakeholders. Together, we can create a more effective IDB group where we nourish the co-creation of new ideas. Trust is a powerful enabler of success. It will be the bedrock of our internal work at the bank and with you. And all of this will be predicated on a commitment to meritocracy, ethics, and diversity at all levels. Let's be clear. We need a more agile and effective IDB based on solid governance.
Giving Christianity Back to Agape Love. A new book written by American National Pastor Matthew Carricker seeks to dispel the dogmatic, fear-based belief systems, myth and misinterpretations that permeate the Christian faith. Pastor Carricker first came to Belize in 2001, where he became a teacher at Sadie Vernon High School. He spent 3 years serving in Belize through the Jesuit volunteer program. He met his wife of 17 years here, and they both moved back to the U.S., where Pastor Carricker attended seminary and began exploring the concept of agape love, or unconditional love. In his book, Pastor Carricker does not shy away from some of the more controversial topics in the Christian faith, like heaven, hell, salvation, pluralism, and even homosexuality. He is back in Belize to host a book launch event on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. inside the Shanti Yoga and Wellness Center on 4th Street in Belize City. He stopped by our studio today to tell us more.
When I came to Belize and I was teaching religion, all these questions came up for me about, what's true, what's not true. I had all these people saying some things are not true and some things are, and that's one of the things that inspired me to go to seminary. Was I wanted to dive deeper into these questions because I had people saying all these things like, well, Gandhi must be going to hell. And for me, that didn't resonate with me. Gandhi seemed more Christ-like than many Christians I was talking to. And so, but I didn't have the theological language to kind of back that up. And so that was one of the reasons I wanted to go to seminary, in addition to feeling how God was calling me. And I realized homosexuality is a hot button topic, so to speak. In the States, there are churches that are splitting and dividing because of that one topic. Like the Episcopal Church, they have some people going in this direction, some people going in that direction because they have different beliefs about that. So one of my prayers, one of my favorite prayers is called, in essentials, unity, in non-essentials, diversity, in all things, charity. And that says, okay, we may have some disagreements, but at the core, let's always be charitable, be loving to one another. So even if people disagree with me, I hope they can still have a charitable spirit to me, realizing that my intention is to give Christianity back to love and Jesus. So even though they may have different beliefs about pluralism, homosexuality, that we can still have a dialogue. But my sense is, in that book, in the chapter of homosexuality, I'm reframing some of the traditional Christian beliefs and the scriptures that are used to justify those beliefs to say, actually, maybe it's not a sin to be gay, and that's what my denomination back in the States affirmed. We were one of the first denominations to say that actually God loves you just as you are. It's not a sin to be lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And the same with people of other faiths, with pluralism, that people, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, at least as I see it, this is my humble opinion, that they're not going to hell. And in fact, some of them are more faithfully living out the gospel than many Christians that I know, that are more locked in dogma and doctrine.
On Wednesday night, Miss Universe Belize Ashley Lightburn took on women from across the globe in the preliminary round of the 71st Miss Universe competition. The preliminaries consisted of 3 categories: the swimwear competition, the evening gown competition, and the national costume display. We have all those looks for you tonight from the live show in New Orleans, Louisiana. Here's a look at that.
Ashley graduated cum laude with a degree in mathematics. This 26-year-old advocates for women and children in STEM by volunteering in high schools and after-school programs to improve math literacy and also pass on her knowledge. Belize!
Belize! This costume represents the first and only jaguar reserve in the world, located in the luscious rainforest of Belize. It's a reminder of the beautiful natural resources found in the Central American nation. Those rainforests reserve, the only jaguar reserve in Belize.
With a master's degree in international business administration. This 26-year-old began a small business making customized gifts, but plans to become a certified actuary one day. Belize!
The top 16 competitors will be announced on Saturday night at the start of the semifinals. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.